Now I'm underneath this system, and all of a sudden I wake up and I'm covered in lubricant. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And I'm delirious because, the fumes. And what we called a weapons officer, he comes around, he's like, we're inbound. I turned on the electronic countermeasures, not working. And I was like, oh. And I went, oh my God, this is the scenario. This is the exact scenario. And thankfully, I asked these guys, if this happens, what do we do? And they say, you gotta shove something in there. So I take off my clothes, right? I take the system open and I start cramming my clothes to compress the lubricant so it's stable as the plane's flying around on the terrain. So I take all my clothes, I'm in my underwear, I'm cramming all this stuff into this system, and I'm like, hey man, fire it up. We gotta make sure it's going to work. He's like, look, everything right now looks okay. Pilot comes down, he's like, there's no way, we're coming into this situation. It was another refuel of humans, of personnel, into a firefight. And he's like, this is a different pilot. He's like, dude, there's no way I'm going in there without this protection. We're going to turn around. Everyone in the aircraft could get killed, And I'm like, I think we're good. Meanwhile, I'm in garbage bags. The plane's filling up with fumes. Pilot's freaking out. I'm like, look, we've got to do it. We hear it over the radio. They need reinforcements. We're like, let's go, man. I'm confident. Let's do this. And so we continue the mission. We let down in flight the entire back door of the MC-130 to let the fumes. Meanwhile, I have people from New Zealand and Australia and special operators, and they're like, what's going on with the airplane? And we're like, hey man, it's cool. And at that point, that was a major, huge thing in my life of I'm confident, I remember this, I did it, I did whatever it took. We land, we refuel there, thankfully, and then we're coming back home, and I fall asleep. What I didn't know was the pilot contacted the commander, and the commander contacted the CENTCOM commander, who contacted the Air Force Central Commander, and they put me in for an officer scholarship while I'm flying on the mission. They put me in and they accept me. And so when I land, we're backing in, and there's a huge group of people. Everybody in our little unit, that was at that base, every American was there, and they're celebrating. And I'm coming off the plane, I'm like, what's going on, man? What happened? Is everything okay? And they're like, congratulations. And they give me the letter of acceptance to become an officer.